Hey, Cinnamon Rage here, and this is the first competitive race I've done in F1 2019, and this season it's actually with ILR and ILR3. I've come in as a reserve driver, so I'm in Alfa Romeo, but it's going to vary race to race, assuming there's actually a space, and I do know I've got obviously a space for Australia this week. But equally, I also have a seat next week in Bahrain for sure. I'm not sure what happens in China yet. So this is the fastest of the 3 laps that I set, which was my last lap. But as you can see, it's not off to a flyer. I do get a wee bit better later in the lap. I get the gap up to like 6/10, which is not bad considering how bad it was at the start of the lap. But yeah, just not really hitting apex. Just I had a bit of a habit of track extending, especially through that central chicane. So it wasn't great. So I make a right mess of this corner, lose 2/10, and then I don't do much better. Not so much here, although again I'm losing about another 10th, but I then go on to lose the rest of that time. So I go from being 6/10 up, despite being a few tenths down, to basically only being 2/10 up. So my time is on 23.1. I should have been in probably about a similar position to Fawn if I'd got it right. But so just because I'm a reserve, I'm going to end up going overly cautious at the start. The last thing I want to do just joining this league for the first time was just barrel into the first corner and do some damage. Especially when I knew my teammate ILR3 Hamilton, I'll just call Hamilton from now on, was kind of pretty much alongside me. But he gets bashed off there and I get back ahead. So I'd said before the race I would just kind of keep it there. I don't want to affect people's races while I'm a reserve, but make a wee mistake here. I'd overbraked, so I come off the brakes at a point where the car in front went on the brakes, and I just tiniest tap and all of a sudden wing damage on like turn whatever that was, like 4. And that's obviously going to ruin my first stint. There's no point getting in, yellow damage, it's not the worst. So I'm just going to speed through to the end of lap 1, and you can see, I see my teammate coming up alongside me, so I kind of bail out on the corner. Just again, making sure I don't impact anyone, but I maybe bailed out again a wee bit too much, being overly cautious in my first race, and that allows LR Blazer Guns, I'll just again refer to as Blazer Guns, to just get the run on me going down the main straight. So that's me gone from 14th to, well, last, basically. Just not had a huge amount of time to practice in the run up this season, just was busy with work stuff. And then when I knew the patch was coming out for 105 as we go past Snodford, who was the first car to retire, I ended up just waiting for that patch to come in. I'd done maybe a few laps prior to it and I was just struggling with understeer and the braking, so I decided to wait. Wasn't expecting initially to get into ILR, so because of the late join I just wasn't quite as practiced as I should have been. Blazer Gun seems to go a bit deep into the back of Hamilton there, causing him to lose his front end and spin round. So gained another place, and as we come round here on lap 5 you can also see there Bibbin has hit the wall. So I've kind of like skipped a wee bit here because people were pitting etc, but I'd got up to 13th though, as you can see through the pit stage. I did get my nose replaced, which cost me about 5 seconds, and I'm back down into last place. But last place is no longer 20th, it is 17th, as we have a near miss there with Dazlad at the side. Wasn't expecting to get that close. But I'm going to come up to the back of Fawn here, who I've known from previous seasons and done a lot of practice with, and it was himself that gave me the shout out for this league. I do get the run on him, but you'll actually see I brake way even before the normal braking point, because I wasn't going to challenge him for the corner. But unfortunately I think I just put him off and he runs a wee bit wide, so I end up holding on to 14th. And yeah, just sort of trying to get into a bit of a rhythm in the game. But on the second stint at some point, and I can't remember where, I got wing damage again. I believe I clipped a wall. We're on lap 25, so right at the end, but just always slightly understeery, and with understeer I just was locking up a lot more. So I ended up, I think, doing about 75% of the race with yellow wing damage. I think the damage came when I accidentally clipped the wall here on a previous lap, trying to get as good a run through the chicane as possible, although I did cut it that time, and I'm just losing a ton of speed. I think I was probably about 5 seconds up at one point, possibly unedited fun, but I just let it slide just by general untidiness of my driving and small mistakes. So coming in here, coming up to the main straight, Fawn is within a couple of tenths. I even run wide there, but I've slowed it down, and looking back I noticed his white arrow kind of disappeared, so I looked back and I think he just got caught in the dirty air behind me and just lost the back of his car, and that allowed me to get away again. But then on lap 27 this just started happening. I believe my internet, because it seemed to affect nobody else, just first time this has ever happened to me, but I just lost track. I've got quite a good setup, wired Xbox and everything, so I don't really know what caused this, but you can see it went on for a while, and then coming around here it booted me out of the game. So at this point I was a few seconds up on, I can't actually remember, Epic's behind me. He had 3 seconds more, we were on the second last lap. I had my doubts whether I could keep him behind me, but I just had to finish within 3 seconds and I could have kept 12th. But turns out in the time that it took, and this is fast forwarded, to rejoin the session off the back of one of our players, the game gives me control back through the chicane, and it gives me it back when you can see LCR Ben, who's the leader, is right behind me. So I didn't want to suddenly brake to get out of his way, so I just kind of tried to play it safe and just, keep out of the way. But actually in the time it took me to get back in, I think I dropped to 15 seconds behind Epic's because the AI is so slow, which is obviously the right thing to do to make sure you don't gain an advantage by letting the AI drive for you. But yeah, just obviously 13th is not awful on my first race of the season on the game, but yeah, just a wee bit frustrating just on the basis that I gave myself yellow wing damage early in both stints, and when I didn't have it in the second stint I was doing okay. So yeah, I know I'm in for Bahrain, but I've created a wee table here showing the standings. You can see I'm a reserve, as is Leper Affinity, and yeah, I believe I should be back in for Bahrain next week. So I hope you enjoyed the highlights, and I'll speak to you soon.